Hey guys, this is Carly from Southeast Virginia Bushcrafting. Welcome back to my part 2 edition of how to make a canvas tarp from painter's cloth. Today what I'm going to do is dye the cloth using RIT dye. I'm going to be using a dark brown. I'm going to get all that set up and then I'll be back with you. Alright guys, I've got it all set up and it's a little windy out here, so I've taped some cotton over the microphone on my camera. Hopefully you can hear me okay, and the cotton is doing its job so far as blocking the wind. But as you can see in front of you, I have a bottle of RIT dark brown, couple pairs of latex gloves, a plastic plastic spoon, some tongs, a mashed potato masher, 3 gallons of warm water with 2 cups of salt in it, and a container to put it all in with the tarp and let it soak. So the tarp itself, I don't think I ever showed the tarp. Right here from corner to corner is 8 foot all the way around, square. This is the finished product. It's all stitched together. We've got 16 loops total going around it. It's a light color right now. When we're done, hopefully it's going to come out to a russet brown or somewhere slightly lighter than a russet brown. The directions on the RIT bottle call for you to do it one way, but I guarantee you, after the response that I got from my wife, don't go by what the bottle says. The bottle calls for 1 bottle of RIT per 2 pounds of cloth that's being dyed, and it's all supposed to be done in the washing machine. Yeah, that doesn't go over very well with the wives. So what I'm going to do is take the tarp itself and I'm going to put it in the red bucket. My son-in-law is joining me to help.
It's got instructions for a sink wash too.
Okay, my son-in-law is telling me it does have instructions for a sink wash, which is basically what we're doing right here is a sink wash, except our sink wash is going to be a plastic bucket outside. So let me go ahead and get all the ingredients in the plastic bucket, and once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and put the tarp in there, make sure that I got enough water, and if we don't, adjust accordingly, and I'll let you know if we had to adjust. Okay guys, so we double backed over the instructions and we ended up needing 6 gallons of water for this project. I'm guesstimating that the tarp is probably somewhere in the ballpark of 2 pounds or so, and it calls for 3 gallons of water, and per pound per half bottle of RIT, and in big exclamation points it says hot water. So we're going to go ahead and we've got the hot water and the 2 cups of salt, which we actually went over by 1 cup. We only needed 1 cup of salt. Go ahead and add the dye into the hot water. We'll get this mixed up. And it looks black. It's good and dark. So hopefully we're gonna get a nice russet brown, dark brown color on our tarp. It says stir constantly for 30 to 60 minutes while the tarp is in there.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right, so we've got the tarp unfolded.
have to add wet fabric and stir constantly. I don't know if you need to wet the tarp first.
Well, we ain't got time now, so I'm gonna feed it in here in a fashion to where, you know, I got some dirt on it. So it's not folded up, but it's going to be pretty difficult not to have some of it fold over. Alright, now what I'm going to do, take the mashed potato tool and get this down in there and get the fabric to start soaking up this dye solution. It did say on the instructions to add wet fabric. I don't see the purpose really because it's wet now. It might make a difference, I don't know. We'll find out when the end product comes up. And it does say stir constantly for 30 to 45 minutes. So I'm gonna sit here for 30 to 45 minutes and get this
it's like mac and cheese. We can stir it every now and
good
then.
and mash down into the solution. Let those fibers soak up the dye and the water. And canvas naturally has a water resistant property to it because the cotton fibers, when they get wet, even if I didn't do this process or didn't do the waterproofing process, which is going to come next, as the cotton fibers, you know, if you had it set up outside and it started raining on you, the cotton fibers, as they get wet, are going to swell up, and all the little holes and spaces in between the threads are going to be filled with the swollen cotton fibers. So I know you guys don't want to sit here and watch me for the next 30 to 45 minutes, so I'll go ahead and cut away, and when we're done and I'm ready to pull this out and rinse it off, and it does say for a darker product to do a double dye. We'll find out then once it's soaked, rinsed, dried, what the color looks like, and see if it comes out the way that I want it to come out. Alright guys, I'll catch you back here when this process is done. Alright guys, so the dyeing process, the first step, is done. And I think it came out pretty cool. Right now it's still wet, so it's darker than I think what's going to finally look like when it's done. We hung it up on the clothesline and hosed it down with a water hose and wrung it out, flipped it over, rinsed off the other side, and took it back off the clothesline and twisted it, and twisted as much of the water and dye out as we could. It does have some light and dark spots in it, which to me is not a problem. I think it's kind of cool looking. I mean, when you're in the woods, nothing's a solid color. right now it is really dark looking. I think, I don't know if what the camera is going to make it look like, but let's see this side. I think once it dries, it's definitely going to light up even more. And then once we do the waterproofing on it, that's probably going to darken it up some more. Like I said, I'm not sure what the camera is making it look like. Looking through the viewfinder, the light spots on the camera look really light, but standing here looking at it doesn't look quite as light as looking through the viewfinder. But we'll see tomorrow when it dries, you know, what it's actually gonna look like. And tomorrow I'm gonna start the waxing process, so hopefully it'll be ready for next week's Southeast Virginia Primitive Skills gathering, so I can use it out there. So just wanted to give you guys a look at this is, you know, when you dye it one time, it was in the solution for several hours actually, soaking. And like I said, if I wanted to, I could do a second dye, but I don't think I'm going to, because I like the shadowy effect that it's got on it right now with the light and the dark. And I think once we do the waterproofing, it's going to come out looking pretty snazzy. So, all right, guys. Well, while I'm out here, they came out today and plowed the fields and planted peanuts in our yard, or in our field. So just kind of give you a quick look around where I live. Why not? There's nobody through the woods. Back behind my house in that direction, I have a 16-acre lake, or beaver pond. We call it a pond, some people call it a lake. It's 16 acres. And it's, you know, 6 feet in most parts, 5 to 6 foot, and down by the dam it's about 10 foot or so. So just a real quick look since we're out here. So, all right, I'll show you guys what it looks like tomorrow when we start doing the waterproofing process. All right, guys, welcome back. I know it wasn't very fast for you guys, but it was overnight for me. I let the tarp sit, strung over my clothesline to dry out overnight, and it changed colors on me. It still kind of has a brown hue to it, but it's almost a gray, and it's got some light spots in it. But overall, I'm happy with it. It's not, like I said, it's not quite the brown I wanted. I could do a double dip or a double bath and go ahead and dye it again with the brown and see if I can get a darker color, and of course darken up the spots that are light on it. But I'm not too worried about it. It's gonna, I think, once I use the waterproofing compound on it, it's gonna darken up some. If it doesn't, that's fine too. What I'm after is something that's more functional, and it's not white, so it's not gonna stand out in the woods over time. Sure, and with the waterproofing compound, it's gonna change colors a little bit. So this is a portion of it. It actually, you know, goes out further. Actually, it goes out 8 foot. it's folded up right now. I've got bricks holding it down because right now it's pretty windy out here. So I'm going to go ahead and start waterproofing this, and well, I'll just show you what I'm going to do. Pretty much just going to take a glob of the waterproofing material, and I'm just going to smear it around, smear it all over the tarp. I'm going to put it on, you know, fairly thick. I'm going to be generous with it. Smear it all over. Get it spread out as much as possible. The heat from the sun is going to help me a little bit with soaking into the material. But after I'm done, I'm actually going to take a hairdryer to it, so the oils and the beeswax penetrate even more deeper into the fibers. And after I get done with all that, this is pretty much all I'm going to do. Just rub it in, let it soak, you know, get it really saturated into the material, and heat it. And when I'm done with this process, I'll go ahead and come back to film. Hey guys, earlier today I was showing you my setup. I had the tarp outside on picnic table, and I'd started doing the waterproofing, and it was just so windy outside, and then I had some other things I had to take care of today, so I'm just now getting back onto the project. The wind was blowing the tarp all over the place and making it almost impossible to do. As you can see in the up here in the dark spot, that's about 1/8 of the tarp, not quite 1/8 of the tarp that I got done. I had applied the waterproofing agent, used a hairdryer to go back over the agent and heat it, let it penetrate into the fibers. And so now I've moved inside into my kitchen. You can kind of see in this light, I know the camera makes the lighter spots really stand out even more so, at least by looking through the viewfinder. In person they don't look quite as bad, but honestly I kind of like the look, because out in the woods it's gonna give it a shadowy contrast, so it's not gonna be just one big dark solid object. Let me explain. The noise that you're hearing in the background is the bread maker. It's the day before Mother's Day, and my wife is making our mother's homemade bread as part of their package. So anyways, back to the project. So what I did is I moved inside, moved the kitchen table out of the way. It sits right in the middle of the kitchen floor, and I've got the tarp set up, laid out on the kitchen floor. I've got wool blankets underneath it, because I'm going to go ahead and get down on my hands and knees with rubber gloves and start applying the compound again. And once I've got the I'm going to do it a quarter at a time. I'll do 1/4, and then I'll take the hair dryer and I'll heat it up and let the waterproofing material soak into the fibers. And once that quarter's done, I'll move to another quarter, and you know, just do 1/4 at a time until it's done. And you can tell, like I said earlier, the waterproofing agent is really darkening this tarp up, so it's kind of growing on me even more. And now under this lighting, it seems like it does have more of a brown tone to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut away, and I'll come back and let you guys see the progress somewhere, I don't know, maybe at a quarter, at a half, or 3/4, or somewhere. Alright guys, see you in a little bit. Alright guys, I have decided to go ahead and change up my method. It seemed like what the method that I was using by dipping the beeswax turpentine linseed oil waterproofing compound, dipping it out by hand and rubbing it in by hand, was using a lot of compound. As you can see here, I haven't moved much further than the last clip, but this what I didn't show you was this was yellow looking, and I have gone over it with the blow dryer, or the hair dryer, and to get it to permeate in deeper into the fibers. Like I said before, I have a wool blanket underneath this part, so as I'm blow drying it, the oil will leach through and soak through into the fibers, and so my wife won't kill me. I've got the wool blanket on the bottom. So what I've decided to do, and see if it goes quicker, I actually went back to YouTube and checked out a couple other videos, and honestly I didn't find anything. There's a whole lot of videos on people making the solution itself, the wax, the waterproofing solution. There was some good videos on making the tarp, and there were some good videos on that showed people starting to put the waterproofing material on the tarp itself, but they never really showed how much they had so far as the compound itself, and I couldn't find anything on how much to actually use. And there were several different methods that were being used. The rubbing it in, like I was doing it by hand, was very popular so far as doing haversacks, backpacks, smaller items, but nothing of this size. And the method that I found that seemed like it will work the best for a larger item is, I still have the beeswax turpentine linseed oil mixture in my paint can, so I've got it on the stove, on a burner right now, melting it back down. It's on a low temperature heat, and all I wanted to do is just get back to warm and liquid. And I'm going to use a paintbrush, and I'm going to brush it on, and after I brush it on, I'm going to go back behind myself and with the hair dryer, and still use the hair dryer to dry and put use the heat and the airflow to help permeate the fibers with the waterproofing compound. So I'm gonna go ahead and try that out, and come back, and I'll let you guys see and know how that worked. Alright, I'll catch you back in a little while. Alright guys, so I've got the wax waterproofing solution melted down. You can see down to a liquid. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting it on with the brush, and let's see how how well it goes on. Oh yeah, this actually seems like it's going on a lot better than doing it by hand. It's not quite as thick as going on by hand, but the thickness of the coating I don't think is what's important. It's the oils and the fibers that are going to give it the waterproof properties. So and the good thing about the this particular solution, the wax doesn't cool down all that quick. So we'll get it on here, and I will come back with the hair dryer and still do the same process with that. Go over it with the hair dryer to, you know, the wax solution is already hot, so that's helping it soak into the fibers, and then coming back over it with the hair dryer is obviously going to help the air, you know, the force of the air and the heat is going to help push these oils down into the fibers. And even spots I'm feeling right now, because by brushing it on it looks like I'm missing spots, but I'm feeling now, and it's completely coating everything. So this looks like the better method, guys. I'm learning. This is my first time doing this project, and hopefully you guys are learning right along with me. So I'll start doing a little bit more filming when I get further along. Thanks. Alright guys, I've got a pretty good coat. It's almost the size of the wool blanket. My compound started to crust a little bit, so I went ahead and put it back on the stove to liquid, turn back into liquid to melt it back down. And while that's going on, I'm going to go ahead and use the hair dryer on this and see how it comes out. So it's going to get loud for a minute, but just so you guys can see, we're going to go ahead and do this process right here. Alright guys, so now you can get the general idea of what's going on, and the reason, you know, I did this part and then came back, I wanted to show you that, you know, as I'm going along the edge here with the hair dryer, you can see the oils and the beeswax melting, and then it looks like they dry out. And that's because that's exactly what's happening. It is drying out. I went back up to this area here and held the gun there to show you that once this is done and you go back over the spot that you just did, you didn't see the liquid again. It didn't melt again. And you didn't see it get nice and shiny and turn back into a liquid. That is telling me that it is in the fibers and has really gotten in and saturated into the fibers. If it did liquefy again, that is telling me that I got it a little heavy in one spot, and I would stay in that spot a little longer until it actually dried. So far so good. I know you guys don't want to sit here and listen to a dryer. I mean a hair dryer. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut away. I'm gonna finish this while my beeswax is melting down again. And it's late, guys. Right now it's 11:30. So I'm trying to hurry up and get this knocked out. I know everybody's probably going, you're doing that inside and you've got turpentine and lye, and what about the fumes? Well, I can smell the fumes, and you can smell them throughout the house, but I've got every window in my kitchen open. And I got a nice breeze blowing through here right now. The kitchen is very well ventilated, and I would suggest that if you do this inside, make sure that you don't have any young children around. Only reason that I'm having to do it inside is because, number one, it's late at night, and right now it's pouring down rain outside, and today during the day it was super windy outside, and then we had somewhere we had to go, but anyways, that's not important. You guys don't care about that. So I came inside and all the windows are open. I have farmland around the house that you saw in the video, so there's a constant breeze that blows around my house, so the fumes are getting blown out pretty quickly. That's the only reason why I would even attempt doing this inside the house. So just want to throw that in there as a side note. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up, and you're probably not gonna I'm not gonna cut back to another clip until this is done and we are ready to test it outside and do a water test. Alright guys.